Book 101 review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is inventor, tech entrepreneur, and future cyborg. No other than Dr. Cori Lathan.
Hi, Daniel.
Welcome on Book 101 Review, Dr. Cori. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Yeah, of course. I'm thrilled to be here. My background is in neuroscience and aerospace engineering. And then the field of biomedical engineering emerged. So I actually consider myself a biomedical engineer. And for 20 years, I've worked with technology that connects people and expands human capability. Everything from robots for kids with disabilities to virtual reality in space to devices that measure and help brain function.
Dr. Cori Lathan, I thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. And today let's talk about your book, Inventing the Future. How do you define techno optimism? Yes, techno optimism in your book. Is it belief that technology will inherently solve our problems or that provides us with the tools to solve them if we
You
choose
know,
wisely?
I think the latter. I believe that technology has risks, but it also has promises and possibilities, and that we each have agency in how we use technology to solve our problems. So, for me, a techno optimist means that I believe we should use technology to help make us stronger and healthier. I believe that we should use technology to do things that we couldn't do without it. And I believe that we should use technology to make an equitable future.
Equitable future, indeed. And how does your techno optimism acknowledge and address the very real risks and downsides of technological acceleration?
Yeah, well, I've been really fortunate to work on technologies that seemed futuristic when we started. Robots, virtual reality, neurotech. So for me, these have become the seeds of positive change in education and healthcare, and even and aerospace. But you're right. You're right. There's the these disruptive technologies come with real risks, and those fears are not unfounded. There's always going to be bad actors who prey on our fears and look for ways to use technology to gain power. So I have those fears too. I'm afraid that we're going to develop technology at the expense of our planet. I believe that, or I'm afraid that our kids, my kids, I have college age kids. I'm worried about their ability to be creative when they have access to tools like generative AI. So these fears are real. I'm not saying that these fears aren't real, but I think that we can do something about it.
Hmm, definitely. And Dr. Kari, in a cultural moment often dominated by tech dystopias and doom scrolling, why is it a radical act to be optimist about the future?
Ooh, a radical act. I mean, I think it would be radical if we all saw ourselves as inventors and makers and creators of the future. If we all saw ourselves as the architects of the future and we all you started thinking and using technology and dreaming about the positive things that we could do with it and put those dreams into place. We have plenty of scary dreams. We have, Hollywood gives us plenty of the scary stuff, but we together can create the good stuff.
The good stuff indeed. I like that, Dr. Curry. On the stories of the human element, was there a specific person, event, or technology that first ignited your sense of techno optimism and become the seed for this book?
Yeah, that's a great question, Daniel. So I was a professor of biomedical engineering when I started working with the National Rehabilitation Hospital, trying to develop technologies for kids with disabilities to access the computer so that they could actually reach their developmental milestones and achieve an education like any neurotypical child. And so I was really inspired by these kids and how they were able to use what little technology was available to them at the time to achieve their goals. And so I started looking at what technology exists and that we could develop further to help these kids with disabilities. And so one of my first inventions was a robot called Cosmobot that helped kids with disabilities not only do their physical therapy, but also help them with their cognitive development, help them learn receptive and expressive language skills. And so I left academia to start my company around developing that kind of technology.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your invention to the world, Dr. Kari. Hoping for more and more empowering invention to come. And can you share a story from the book of an unexpected or overlooked innovator whose work particularly inspires your optimism?
A story from my book. Is that?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
please.
Yes. Well, um, each of the chapters in my book is a story of an invention that my team and I worked on. And I'll tell you that one of the chapters is called Electricity as Medicine. And I was inspired by Dr. Kevin Tracy, who just released his own book um, on the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the longest nerve in the body. It connects your brain to every organ in your body. Excuse me.
God bless
And
you.
thank you. And Dr. Tracy showed that you can tap into this vagus nerve to actually reduce inflammation, that you can affect your immune system. This was groundbreaking research. And so I reached out to him and he reached out to me and we developed a product that would help people stimulate their vagus nerve to reduce inflammation. So he and I invented something together, and that's in the book, and it's called Electricity is Medicine.
Electricity is medicine indeed, for sure. Technology can be feel cold. How do stories in your book highlight the human emotions, hope, curiosity, perseverance that are the true engines of invention?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The true engines of invention are the people behind it and their creativity and their connection and their ability to work together and to imagine a future together. So that those themes are throughout my book. We talk about how how each of our inventions, how we develop it together with different teams of people. We pull in people with different expertise, with different background. We show how each invention is going to enable someone to do something they couldn't do without it. We developed the first virtual reality system for the International Space Station so that we could study the astronauts and discover how we could live and work in space on a long-term basis. So the soft side of technology, the humanity behind inventing and technology is throughout my book.
Dr. Cori, do you feature stories of spectacular failures?
Mm. So I have an analogy in my book where I talk about invention as being an inventor is like being an artist. When you're an artist, when you're creating a piece of music, when you're writing a screenplay, um, you write and you create lots of pieces of art that might never see the light of day. Are those failures, or are those just part of your journey to the invention that does see the light of day? So, of course, inventing is filled with failures and and iterations and pivots. But to me, that's just part of being an artist, where I'm going to paint 20, maybe 20,000 pictures before I paint a picture that I want to show you or that I want to show the world. So I see myself as an artist. And as an artist, I don't look upon any of my works as failures. They're all part of the journey.
On the future being invented, at current emerging technology, do you believe the most potential to reinvent our future for the better and why?
Well, I think the obvious one to talk about uh, is AI, because that's what's in the news. That's what we're hearing about every day. That's what's really disrupting the way we all do work, the way we interact with each other, with education, with health. So I think that AI is certainly what is act. That's the technique and group of technologies, because it's not just one thing that is changing our world right now. And I think it's wonderful that there's so many people who are working to use AI to build um, tools that we can use as individuals to help make our life easier and better. And I think that we're I'm very optimistic about the future with AI. I think that um, there's many aspects of AI that are going to help not replace people, but augment what they do. For example, in the medical area, I've worked with people who go to physical therapy, adults and elderly who are trying to build up strength and stamina so that they don't fall when they use their walker. Well, the therapist can't go home with them. But if we have a device that has AI embedded in it that's smart enough to know when they're at risk for falling and help prevent that fall, we'll have a longer time to be with our loved ones because they won't fall and they won't have injuries. So I think that there's a lot of great ways that we can apply AI to help us live longer, healthier lives, which is my goal as a techno optimist.
Well done, Dr. Curry. And as an inventor, tech entrepreneur, and future cyber, what are your short term and long term goals?
Short term and long term goals. Well, short term, I'm really spreading the word with my book and with my speaking um, and other writing. I'm trying to uh, spread the word that despite the perils, of technology. Technology provides an opportunity for us to shape the future that we want to see. Oh, long term. You asked me about long term. So long term, I want to keep building that future. I keep looking for projects. I go from, I think I'm going to have a whole new book of projects because I keep finding amazing people to work with and amazing projects and inventions to move forward to create that long term future.
Good luck to your goals, Dr. Kari, and looking forward for more success. And what would be your piece of advice for those people out there want to be like you?
Oh my. Well, my first piece of advice would be to be your own person for sure. but
True.
this, but the second, I guess, I I tell people no matter what age you are, whether you're a student or a professional, I when I ran my company for over 20 years, our goal was to do cool projects with cool people. That was like if it was a problem worth solving and it was with people who we love to work with, that that just kept us going. So find cool people and cool projects to work with and you'll be fine.
Thank you for that advice, Dr. Kari. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Yes, yes. Well, definitely Dr. Tracy's new book, uh, Dr. Kevin Tracy, I believe it's called The Great Nerve. Um, and then another book that came out a couple years ago, which is which is wonderful, called Unmasking AI, and it's by Joy Bualami, who's a professor at MIT, and she wrote an amazing book about the bias behind AI. For example, as a Black woman, face recognition software didn't recognize her unless she put on a white mask. So it's a very dramatic example of bias in AI. So those are the two books I would recommend.
Thank you for that recommended books, Dr. Kari. And let's talk about the ultimate goal of your book. Is the end goal of all this technological progress purely material comfort, or is it something deeper like the expansion of human potential, creativity, and understanding?
Well, I think you just answered that question. You know what I'm going to say. It's of course it's the latter. It's about humanity. I had the honor of having Yo-Yo Ma write the foreword for my book, and the reason for that was because we both are aligned with where we believe humanity should go, and the creativity and the humanist part of the future that we're trying to create, and that has nothing to do with financial success. uh, of course we all need to make a living, but that's different than our passion and our vision for what the future should look like.
How must our education systems change to prepare the next generation, not just use technology, but invent and ethically guide it?
How much have they changed, or how much do they have to change?
How must our education system change to prepare?
Yeah, they need to change a lot. They really do. I mean, our education system really has not changed much in a very long time. So I do think that it's difficult. I mean, it's very difficult to turn the ship because it's a big ship. Um, but I think that, and I know that teachers and administrators are really trying to think about how do they use AI in the classroom? How does the classroom look different now that we have so many tools available to kids. I'm a big fan of the flipped classroom, where when you're in the classroom, you're using the tools. And then when you're outside of the classroom, you can log on and get your teacher's lecture, or you can digest the material, but you come into the classroom to be creative and hands-on learn and work with your classmates and use all these tools with the teacher there to help you facilitate that. So I think there's lots of innovation out there in education, but there needs to continue to be more.
Needs to be more for sure. In a world often divided, can a shared optimistic vision for the future become a unifying force? How?
I I agree with you that a shared vision for the future can become a unifying force. And I think that um, people are inspired by technology. Think about this space program. I worked at a homeless shelter in college, in graduate school. I worked, many nights a week at a homeless shelter, and I would go outside with the men from the homeless shelter, and we would look up at the sky and watch the space station going overhead. And they were just as enthralled as I was. I think that space, for example, exploration, technology, those are all things that really can unify us as a world if we can have a shared goal. And I think space exploration is a perfect example, but I think there's others as well.
Certainly. There's a lot more over there. So, Dr. Curry, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 in each third season, and Law 101 and Mental Health 101 are in first season, or my baby
Mm.
podcast. Love Letters in third season, and Movie 101 Review and Music 101 in fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Dr. Kari, if you could leave your readers with one feeling or one call to action after finishing inventing the future, what would it be?
I would say be creative. Exercise your creativity muscle.
Yes, be creative, people, and curious. Who knows, you will be the next Einstein. Yes, Dr. Cori Lathan, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your book, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Sure, you can find everything about me at corilathan.com or inventthefuture.tech.
Yes, people, let's support Dr. Cori Lathan because if you support her for sure, more and more empowering books like this to come, more and more empowering advocacy to come. So, Dr. Cori, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. Good talking with you.
More to come, people. See you soon.